at first it was supposed to be a respite. And then when she said that, it was like a light bulb went off and all the doctors said, oh, that's a great idea. Yes, let's do that. Both my sisters jumped on the bandwagon. They thought it was a great idea. And in this whole packed room, I was the only person who did not want Barry to go to Seven Hills. I remembered it was kind of noisy. Everybody thought this was a great idea. And I just kind of cleared my throat and the room went silent. And I said, my voice was shaking. I was trying so hard to keep it together in front of my potentially future colleagues. And I said, you don't know my brother. Every time you doubt him, he will prove you wrong. And that was just kind of it. The meeting just kind of ended. People started to leave, and it was decided Barry was going to Seven Hills. So that was, I think, in January of my junior year of high school. And I was really mad about it. I was mad that my mom didn't think she could take care of him anymore. I thought in my brain, like, well, what if something happened to me? Like, you would take care of me and you wouldn't send me away. Like, I just really couldn't understand why my mom would do it. I couldn't understand why everybody at Seven Hills wasn't up to my 100% standard of excellence. I mean, generally, yes, Seven Hills is an excellent place, but if I ever saw one flaw, whenever I saw one flaw, I generalized it to the whole staff. And I was just really upset. So I took that out on my mom. I took that out on the staff at Seven Hills, and I couldn't really explain it, though. I was feeling all this anger and sadness, and the way I handled it was I avoided being home with my mom because it was just me and her at this point, since Brooke was at school, Kristen was out of the house, and now Barry was at Seven Hills. And I really just didn't want to just be there with her at first. So I would go to Seven Hills a lot. I would go by myself, and I really needed to be with Barry by myself, I think. And I remember the first time I went there, I was mad because he was put into a room with a girl, and that is not standard procedure. And I right off the bat, I was like, well, why are you treating my brother differently? And they were just like, oh, well, we're just waiting for his room. Like, someone is staying a respite, and then it'll transition to his permanent room. And then, I just started finding things off the bat that I didn't like. And so I knew that I needed to lay down the law. And my mom also agreed that she wanted them to know, like, what we normally did, like what kind of routine we had. So we did together, like, write up a little protocol type thing of like, what we, like, a normal routine, and then also exceptions. Like, Barry had a body jacket for his scoliosis, and that he hated that thing. So, like, we kind of were under the protocol that if he wasn't feeling well, he didn't need to wear the body jacket. And like, we never wore it on him at home. It was just for like school. And at Seven Hills, when they saw a body jacket, they like required it all the time. And so in my mind, if Barry was sick enough not to go to school, then he did not need that body jacket on. So at first I would just come in and just take it off myself, and the nurses would come in and say, oh, why is Barry's body jacket on and off? And I would say, why does it need to be on? He's lying in bed. This is supposed to be a relaxing time. And so like slowly they started to listen to me, and they relaxed about the body jacket a bit. And then other things like we always liked Barry to look his best, and we were really vigilant about his care that was related to his appearance. Like, my mom would torture him and wash his face and shave his face, and he hated it, but we wanted him to look just like the other sisters. And my mom would never let us go out of the house if our hair was a mess, so he wasn't allowed to either. So when I realized like the CNAs didn't necessarily meet my standard of care for Barry, just because maybe the other patients' families didn't express as much concern about that. I had to write some protocol about that Barry's face was to be washed every single morning and every single night because his acne was out of control, and that wasn't fair to him. Like, if I was in a bed, I would hope someone would make sure I didn't have pimples all over my face. It was little things like that if Barry was going to be at this place, then he was going to get my standard of treatment, and he was going to get the kind of treatment he got at home.